shit. Good shit.
Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Ken and Ken take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars on the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Question in the voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Ken and Ken in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. We live and loud, that break in the mind. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploded like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, they're a force can't fight. From sports to politics,
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Ken and Ken in the Morning. And, of course, we've got Joe this morning. How are you doing this morning, Joe?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good.
What's up, Kitty Kid?
Fuck you. You don't get to say Kitty Ken, especially when your team don't even have more than, 2 wins?
Yeah,
Wow.
2 wins.
Man, you almost have as many wins as we do ties.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, don't worry. I got. Wait, good morning, Fred. And Joe, I got your back. Hey, good morning, Kitty Ken.
Okay there, Ken the Lions fan. I was going to say, before Chicago went on that streak, you sure were touting the Lions chain.
Well, yeah,
man.
because they were looking like the best team in football at the time. Then they shot themselves in the wee-wee like they've been doing all season.
Hey, Ken, can you pull up that last comment? Hey, Ken, here's Fred for you.
Well, Fred, you can kiss my ass tomorrow just like the Lions will.
So let's talk about Thanksgiving. 3 good games. Look, I think this is the best Thanksgiving week slate we've had in a while as far as the Thursday-Friday combo. And at the beginning of the year, when we all looked at the schedule, people were like, well, I don't know how good of a Thanksgiving slate this is going to be. It looks like it's going to be pretty good. I mean, the Bears, though, Bears-Eagles, everyone's like, okay, well, that'll just be a whatever game. Packers-Lions, people thought would be good. Chiefs-Cowboys, Bengals-Ravens. I mean, all 4 of these games are good. We'll talk more Packers-Lions today. We talked a lot about it yesterday because Ken wasn't here. But don't worry, Ken, we had you covered. We had Isaac here. So Isaac was
doing everybody's taxes.
Yeah, he was. But real quick, before we get into the other games, I mean, we got Chiefs-Cowboys. That's going to actually that's a super impactful game. I think the Cowboys are pretty close to being out, but they still have a dog in the fight to maybe get a wild card. They're like 2 or 3 games, 3 games behind right now. So they can inch maybe a little bit closer. The Chiefs, if they lose, they're probably done. They'll be 6-6 at that point. They're probably done. The Cowboys would be 6-5-1 if they win, which that tie could get them in on a tie break depending on how they do the rest of the season. But this is a big game. Cowboys-Chiefs. Look, at Cowboys just come off the big win on the Eagles. Right, down 21-0, come back and win. The Chiefs, squeak past the Colts, who fell asleep in the second half at Arrowhead. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, and Fred, we're going to be getting blasted with it too. Pretty much Thursday night all the way till Saturday night. We got a hell of a storm coming.
Yeah, but this game's at Ford Field, so it doesn't really matter. So the weather won't be a problem for that game, but look at Cowboys-Chiefs, guys. Big game.
Yeah, I hope the Cowboys win, but I don't think the Chiefs are out if they lose. 6-6, I expect that they'll do that usual last 5 game of the year, run that they go on and end up 11-6, and they'll right in the thick of it because the refs won't allow anything else.
They would have to basically win out, though, and I don't think they're going to win out. Let me bring up their schedule.
I've said that before, and Patrick Mahomes has proven me, and the refs have proven me wrong. So,
I mean, you're not wrong, You are not wrong. Let me pull it up here really quick. All right, so we got the Cowboys here this week. After the Cowboys, oh my God, no, dude, they're done. After the Cowboys, you ready for this one? They get the Texans with that defense. Then they get a winnable game against the Chargers. Then they get the Titans. That's winnable. Then they get the Broncos, and then they get a winnable game against the Raiders. They got, so 3 winnable, 3 super really tough games for them. And if you look at the standings right now for just their division, if they lose and go to 6-5, right now, dude, they're like 3 games behind the Broncos. As far as the top 7, I mean, geez, the Pats they're not catching. The Bills are going to be ahead of them. The Ravens will get in only because of their division, if they win the division, or the Steelers.
Hey, good morning, Eric.
The Colts are 8-3. The Jags are 7-4. I mean, the Texans are coming on tight right now. It's going to be really hard for the Chiefs. I'm not saying they couldn't get in, but it's going to be really, really hard for them.
Yeah.
Morning, Billy.
I'm still thinking the Texans are making the wild card, and Buffalo, and isn't Jacksonville will be leading that division. Who the hell is the other wild card?
The Colts are leading the division.
No, the Colts are.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it is Jacksonville.
Right now, if you look at the top 8, you've got the Pats at 10-2, they're in. The Colts at 8-3, they're in. The Broncos at 9-2, they're in. And the Ravens at 6-5. There's 4. So your next 3 would be the Bills at 7-4, the Jags at 7-4, and the Chargers at 7-4. They're your playoff teams right now. If the Chiefs lose and go to 6-6, they fall. They fall behind the Chargers. They're still behind the Chargers. They obviously would be behind the Jags. I mean, they're behind people. In fact, if the Steelers were to win, the Steelers are ahead of them right now because of a tie break. So yeah, they're like 9th or 10th right now in the pecking order.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's starting to circle the drain for Kansas City.
They play 3 of those teams.
What the fuck? 3 or 4 of those, Eric?
Hey, but they play 3 or 4 of those teams in their last 6 weeks. Like
they do.
They play the Chargers, they play the Broncos, they play the Texans. Like a win over each of those teams, all of a sudden changes things.
Joe, why do you got to say these things?
I know, Joe.
You're not going to make it come to fruition like you've made other things come to fruition.
No,
haven't you learned not to make any type of predictions or statements on this show?
No, the only predictions that come true are when I say I'd like to see how blank comes back from an injury, and those seem to come true. But dude, I'm telling you, like the NFL wants Kansas City in it, dude, and unfortunately. Like, and plus, even take the refs out of it. Kansas City has been this way for a couple years now. They start really slow, and then by the end of the year, they're hitting on all cylinders, and they go into the playoffs hot. It's just unfortunately the way that they run. So I just wouldn't be surprised. Like, I think they'll beat the Texans. I think they have a good chance to beat the Chargers. They lost to the Broncos by a field goal? Like, in the first game, so it's not like the Broncos kicked their ass. Like it's not unheard of. And I think that one was in Denver. I think their next game is in Kansas City. Can you look that up, Ken?
I'm sorry. What you want me to look up with KC?
The KC Denver game I think it's in Kansas City.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Let me go back.
And Erica, I'm sorry to hear you're fucking sick. Hopefully you feel better soon. And
yeah. So the Chiefs are at the Cowboys Thursday. At home against the Texans, at home against the Chargers, at the Titans, at home against the Broncos, and then at the Raiders.
So they have 3 out of their next 5 games at home, or 4 out of their next 6 games at home. Boy, you got to think that NFL scheduling, how they're playing at home for the majority and all the tough games, right? Like, I mean, it's set up, dude. It's set up for them to run the table. If they get in,
though, look, it's not saying they can't get in, but if they lose on Thursday, going back to Thursday's game, if they lose Thursday, it makes the road a lot harder for them.
No, Oh, sorry. I was just answering Fred's question. No, I'm not in San
Yeah, I know.
Diego. I don't do jujitsu with Jocko. I actually train with Marino. He's a 6th-degree black belt under Carlson Gracie Sr.
So I mean, good morning, Cam. I mean, if the look at this is gonna be a good game, this Chiefs Cowboys game. I think like everyone probably thought it'd be a good game, but now it really is gonna be a good game. See, that's what I'm talking about, Billy. That's what I'm talking about. But we'll get to the Bears game here in a minute. Which for us will be a pregame show, actually. Friday's show, it'll be kind of a pregame. I mean, a little early for pregame, but that game's at 2:00 on Friday, and we'll be on Friday morning. We will not be on tomorrow morning. I think we're taking tomorrow off. Yes? Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So Chiefs Cowboys is going to be a good one. Man, I mean, look at Eberflus is getting that defense working a little bit better with Quentin Williams there. And they've got some DBs. Look at the Cowboys are making a push to be kind of relevant in the NFC playoff picture. So this is a big game for both of them. Actually, the way that the Chiefs have been playing, I mean, look at their defense has not been really stopping much, and this is a high-powered offense the Cowboys possess. I think this will be a fun game, and then the next one, which will be interesting because I hear there's a certain quarterback coming back in Cincinnati. The Bengals and the Ravens, man, since that they got healthy against the Bears, have been on a run, and they are now in first place in that division. Yeah, boo Eberflus. I agree with you, Billy.
Yeah.
But I mean,
a serious
Bengals
question, though. Oh, sorry. I was going to ask a serious question about that game, like about the Ravens-Bengals game. Do you put Burrow back in there? Like, honestly, Flacco's been playing pretty well for you. Like, I kind of think Burrow's going to have a little rust on him, and I kind of would go with the hot hand at this point.
Joe, I swear to God, I just got into an argument the other day about this. The guy happened to be a Bears fan, but do you know David Wyatt at all, Ken?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I didn't know if you guys happen to do shows, but usually him and I can agree on a lot of things. But he was sitting there touting the thing of, well, he's Joe Burrow and he is not going to have a whole bunch of rust and all of that. Like, I get Joe Burrow is a high type of caliber quarterback, but anybody, when they don't play this long, it is going to have some kind of rust.
I love this headline from Sports Illustrated 17 hours ago. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow, here's your concerns, but suggest politely that you go kick rocks because he's playing.
Yeah.
And people are asking that question. Burrow's like, I'm not going to live in fear. I'm going to play. I mean, it's Burrow for you. He's playing.
Yeah.
That makes that game a little more interesting.
Man.
However,
I really do.
They've got other injuries there they got to worry about. Like, he's coming back, but he's not going to have all his wide receivers. That offensive line still sucks. Chase is out this week. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. That one's going to be interesting. And of course, you get Black Friday. At the beginning of the year, people thought, "Oh, this won't be much of a game." Well, now you got 8-3 and against 8-3, the Bears and the Eagles. The line on this one's 7 for the home team. Okay, fine. The Bears still don't get any respect. We know this. The Bears aren't going to they don't get respect from Vegas or whatnot for a while. It's funny. Some of the national sports media is starting to give them a little respect, but most of them aren't. That's gonna be a really good game too, because it's not like the Eagles' offense is doing much, which helps the Bears' defense. But Jalen Johnson, full participant yesterday in practice again, and so was Kyler Gordon.
Yeah, not to interrupt you, but what about your linebackers? Because I know you lost all 3 last week.
Nothing on no TJ Edwards. I didn't see anything. Let me find. Because the one I'm looking at here is not that great. With the guys that played last week, they played so well last week for the Bears. It's almost like, I don't really care. Okay, so yesterday, TJ Edwards did not practice. Hippolyte did not practice. Luke Newman did not. Dominique Robinson did not. Noah Sewell did not. And Tyreek Stevenson did not. But Theo Benedict did. Kyler Gordon did. Travis Homer, Kyle Manangi, and Jalen Johnson were all full participants. So,
not to interrupt you again there, Ken, but I got to address Fred's comment here. I can understand the whole getting cold on Goff because his numbers took a little bit of a dip this year. But are you kidding me? Trade Gibbs? That is insanely stupid. He is the entire Lions offense right now, and you got fans that are talking about trading him?
And not just that, but trading Goff and Gibbs for Carson Wentz. That's what CW means, I assume. Carson Wentz.
I think
Unless
that
you
might
think
have
of
been
another
for CMC.
CW.
No, Caleb.
Oh,
For Caleb Williams?
Yeah. Not happening. Not happening. So, but yeah, so the linebacking core. But you know what, though, Ken? Last week, we played basically with our practice squad linebackers, and they actually did a pretty good job. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Sure, Eric. They got lucky. That's right. When the Bears win. See, but look at Eric. Eric just exemplifies, don't take this the wrong way, Eric, 'cause I don't mean this in a bad way towards you. But Eric exemplifying right there the stupidity of the national media when it comes to the Bears. Oh, well, they got lucky. Okay, so they've won 8 games. Oh, they got lucky 4 or 5 times. Okay. Sure. I can understand getting lucky in a game. A game is lucky. You get lucky winning a game. Like, okay, you could say the Washington game. They got lucky with the bungled snap, right, that led to the fumble. Okay, you could say, oh, they got lucky that game. But you can't say they got lucky for 4 or 5 wins. I mean, one game is luck. Multiple games is something else.
But you know what? At this point, Ken, I would just point out sometimes it's better to be good.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
It's like whatever it is, don't change the stew, bro. Like whatever you got cooking in the pot, don't change it, dude. Like it's working right now, you know. If it's luck, fucking call me leaping leprechaun, dude. Like I wish the Raiders were that lucky. You know what I mean?
The Bears defensive and the back end of the Bears defense, man. The 3 top interceptors in the league are Chicago Bears. Think about that, right? And now you're getting Jalen Johnson back. Oh, by the way, his replacement for the season so far, yeah, he's number 1 in the league in interceptions. A guy we got off the practice squad in Minnesota. So yeah, don't break what's not broken, right? There you go, Billy. We'll get lucky and win the Super Bowl. I guess that'd be luck too, right? If that were to happen.
I think that's classified as a miracle under a first-year head coach.
Look, you know, I don't think it's ever happened to a first-year coach.
That's what I'm saying. Is I can't remember a time that a first-year head coach won it.
But I mean, look, the defense, while it's been problematic, it's a weird defense. They're number 1 in takeaways, but we're like terrible everywhere else. It seems for the most part. Red zone efficiency defensively, we're not terrible. We're not the worst, but we're kind of in the middle of the pack. But we give up tons of yards and tons of points, unfortunately. So. Yeah, the Eagles game, though, their offense isn't exactly doing a lot of great things. And if the Bears are plus on turnovers, they win every time. Mm-hmm. So
this is going to be real tough for them. But
yeah, it's going to be a good test for both teams because the Bears' offense
Eagles are beatable
in the league.
Yeah, the Eagles are beatable.
Yeah, the Eagles are. Look at the Bears' offense. This is the surprising thing. I think people would have thought the Bears were going to do well this year. It'd be on the strength of their defense while the offense figures it out. Well, it's been just the opposite. It's been the strength of the offense while the defense figures it out. The defense gets some opportune picks, which helps the offense, of course. But you got the number 1 offense, they're top 2, top 3 offense in the league right now. 2nd in the league in rushing, which is, I love it because Bears fans are always, man, we got to get the rushing game going. Like, dude, we're 2nd in the NFL. What are you talking about? We're 2nd in the NFL in rushing. What are you talking about? Get the rushing game going.
That's the one that absolutely shocks the ever-living hell out of me. I would have never expected Bears to be number 2. I wouldn't have expected them to be in the top 10 with it this year. Now, maybe next year, absolutely. I could give the argument to that. But unfortunately, I got to give credit where credit's due. Ben Johnson has implemented his offense, and it's becoming a running offense.
I think it's a
hasn't-
combination of things. It's Ben Johnson, number one. He has a creative run game. We saw it in the Lions with the Lions. Like, he has a very creative running system. Number two, the Bears really went out and attacked the offensive line this year in the offseason, and those pieces that they got are paying off. Like, they have depth at the line now, and so I think both of those things are combining to create the success you're seeing.
Billy's comment right here, man, like, if we're getting healthy defensively and they can finally, because here's the funny thing. Ben Johnson has not implemented the full playbook yet. They're still learning the playbook, right? He's like, dude, we're not going to be playing our best football till sometime in December. I believe him because everything else he's saying is kind of coming to fruition. Defensively with Dennis Allen, he has not implemented the full playbook yet. In fact, he said the problem is his personnel. He hasn't been able to implement his playbook as he wants to yet. We can start getting guys back healthy that he wanted to implement this playbook with. Look out. I think we talked about the nickel corner yesterday being such an important piece for Detroit, for Green Bay. It's just as true for Chicago. And when CJ Gardner-Johnson came to Chicago, that defense upticked, and there's no secret why, because he went to the nickel corner and was able to nickel blitz and stuff like that the Bears haven't done most of the season. Why? Because Spidey's been hurt, right? We've had no Kyler Gordon. We had him for like 2 games. In those 2 games, we did a lot of nickel blitzes, and he had great games. And then he got hurt. We weren't doing it. And then we bring Gardner-Johnson. Now we're nickel blitzing again and doing stuff with the nickel. And we're bringing up, and it's not just him. It also affects God, I hate when I brain fart in the morning. It will affect Stevenson, affects everyone, because now you're doing different corners and safety blitzes that you don't do without your good nickel there. So getting those guys back, and then if we get our linebackers back, fine. An offensive line, I mean, Joe, you hit on the head. Like, dude, we've started 3 different left tackles this year, and all 3 left tackles have been really, really good for Chicago. One's on the IR. Now we're going between Theo and Hippolyte. And then Luke Newman came in last week at right guard, and there was no drop-off. So, like, the offensive line, you got to giving Poles some credit for not only the investing in the line as far as free agency, but the guys he's drafted to the line, they're all paying dividends this year. So that offensive line, they went from worst to like top 3 again. I mean, so you're talking about an Eagles team that has a really good defense. This is a good test for that defense, and it's a good test for the Bears offensive line, because we haven't, faced a super, super good defense. Like I would put Philly right now in the top defenses in the league, right? The way they've been playing. This will be a great test for Chicago Friday. But and this is a game I don't think anyone runs away with it early, but the Bears are clicking on offense, and that Eagles defense just can't stop them. They go to first 2 or 3 scripted drives and score and get touchdowns early. If they can get touchdowns early, like 2 or 3 touchdowns early off the scripted stuff, and they can stop the anemic Philly defense, then, dude, that's a recipe for success for the Bears.
If you can score a couple of touchdowns on that Philadelphia defense, that's going to be a hell of an accomplishment, because we have seen how good Philadelphia's defense is this year, especially after that trade where they got, I forget his name, but the guy they got from the Dolphins there.
Yeah,
he has been massively impactful for them.
What makes them tough is they've got a good pass rush and they've got a good secondary. I mean, they've got what the Bears had last year, and Bears should have this year. Now, look for the Bears defense, and we're sleeping on their defense because everyone's so excited about the offense. But Montez Sweat's been getting 2 sacks a game for the last 3 games.
Well, the Eagles also have, in my opinion, the best defensive tackle tandem in the league with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Like, that defensive tackle duo that's a wall, dude.
I think the Bears are getting better if Booker keeps progressing. If Booker keeps progressing the way he is, I think you might be talking that way about Booker and Montez Sweat here eventually. The interior, like Grady Jarrett, it was great to hear his name called on a deflected pass last week that effectively ended the game. Jarrett's been getting at it, but you know what, though? We haven't seen as much as Dexter Gervin the last couple of games. If these guys can all put it together, that defense, the Bears defense, if they get healthy, like it's really like Billy said, will be a team you don't want to face in the playoffs just because of the offense. But then if the defense is getting healthy and getting better, oof.
Yeah, and Fred, it
Well,
doesn't seem like Love's shoulder is really going to limit him much.
yeah, there's some bias in your view, Jay, and that's fine. I mean, you're going to have look. The Bears will not get respect in this division or by the national media. I don't care if we win 13 games; they'll still say, "Oh, the Packers were better, the Lions were better," until they win some playoff games. Because they'll be like, "Oh, well, it was just luck, this, that, and the other." The Bears, look at as a Bears fan, I'm used to us not getting respect from the division and from the national media. It's just par for course being a Bears fan. It really is. In fact, being a Vikings fan, it's the same way. Lions fans, you are just now starting to get some respect from the national media over the last year and a half or so, but it took like a good almost two and a half seasons to get it. The Packers get it just out by default because they were the best of the worst for like 3 decades.
I was going to say, we barely would get it. Even when we had Aaron Rodgers, granted, they would kind of talk about us in the national media, but they seem to pass over the whole North.
They do.
As a group, when you would have the years of Green Bay being 13-3, and they would still be talking about them like they're just kind of there. Like, what more do you want them to do? Type of shit.
I mean,
So
look.
I got a question for you, Ken. Bearkin.
What's up?
I mean, I know that every fan base has its delusional fans, right? But for a grounded Bear fan, right? For somebody who's realistic, like what would it take for a grounded Bears fan to be satisfied with this season? Like, is it going if they got to the divisional round and they lost? Would you consider would a grounded Bears fan consider that like? Would they be disappointed or would they be like, dude, we had a great fucking season? I mean, considering we won 5 games last year, right?
I would say that right now, most grounded Bears fans like, okay, we've already won 8. We're 8-3. This is a successful year. This is already a successful year. Now we're playing with house money at this point.
That's kind of how I look at it too. Like you've already pretty much doubled your win total almost, right?
Right, but there's one caveat to that though. Like right now, yes, I think this year shows that Ben Johnson is going to be the guy. We know that it looks like Ben Johnson is going to be a good head coach in this league, not just a good OC. His offense is working in Chicago. I think, though, the other piece is we got to beat Green Bay at least once or it's not successful. And look at thank you, NFL schedule makers, for being so jacked up on whatever crack you were smoking that day to give us a Bears-Packers games 2 out of 3 weeks, right? We go to the Packers, then we go to the Browns, then we get the Packers or vice versa, whatever. But we got and they almost designed it that we're going to split because it's really hard to beat a team twice in 3 weeks. It really is in this league. Even if you're the best team in the league and they're the worst team in the league, it's still really hard on that second go around. So if you win the first game, your chance of winning the second game are a lot harder. For whatever reason, advantage goes to the team that lost the first one because, you don't have as a team that won, you're like, okay, how do I attack this differently? You don't fix what's not broken. Let's just work to beat them. And you try to add some wrinkles, but what can you add? The team that lost has a whole bunch of stuff that they can change, So usually the team that it happens almost every year. You get guys, divisional foes that meet in the playoffs. Well, hey, Team A has beaten Team B twice already in the regular season. They beat them in week 3 and then in week 17, and then they lose the playoff game because they just faced them in week 17. So it's really hard. But for a grounded Bears fan, this is already a successful season. I think beating the Packers, though, even if let's say that's the only game we win the rest of the year, right? And we finish with 9 wins, but we beat the Packers, successful season. They'll be bitching and griping about a collapse, not making the playoffs to a degree, but they'll be like, but look it, successful season. And Caleb grew. We saw like the offense grow, the defense needs to get better, and that would be a fair assessment. Now, if the Bears can win 3 or 4 more games, which they can on this schedule, right? I mean, they can win Friday. They should be at least Green Bay at least once. They can beat the Browns. The Niners will be tough. And look, if they can beat Detroit in December, late December in Chicago outdoors, oh, yeah, they could beat Detroit. So, they could finish with 10, 11 wins, win the division. Chicago will be going out of its mind like we did when we had Matt Nagy in 18. The difference would have to be then no matter what happens in the playoffs, next season, it's going to be incumbent on Ben Johnson to do what Matt Nagy did not do. Remain innovative, right? Be able to adjust the team to keep them at a level. And the Bears would have to, grow defensively, and that means they're going to have to do some stuff in the draft. They're going to have to draft some defensive players because obviously the injuries are an issue with backfills a little bit, and they're still going to have to draft some offensive linemen. But really, I don't see any cap casualties. You could have cap casualties, even though I think they'll find a way not to. I think all the three guys that we said were on the bubble as cap casualties are all going to be here next year. Swift, Kmet, Edwards will all be here next year. You might see some restructuring of contracts, but so they're on the right track. So, now the delusional Bears fan will be like, well, we didn't win the Super Bowl. It's a bust year. No. I don't know, Broski. What do you think? What would you call this year a success for Chicago already if we did nothing else but maybe beat the Packers one time?
Well, first of all, good morning, gentlemen. I heard Joe mention grounded Bears fan. I was like, well, it's time for Broski to call in.
There you go, buddy.
And what Ken was saying, I agree with most of it, really. It's like, so before the season, you guys heard me. Like I said, 8 or 9 wins would be amazing. Like that would be like a huge step in the right direction, most likely for the entire organization. So you got a first-time head coach who's, first-year head coach of the Bears, a young quarterback, you know what I mean? And it's like 8 or 9 wins. Like I look at it like we're playing with house money right now. Mm-hmm. So, let's say the Bears only win one more game than the rest of the way, which I think they'll win more than that. But, that's still a 9-win season for a guy who it was his first season ever as a head coach. First time coaching the Bears with a young ass quarterback with a defense who, I give the defense credit because we've been starting literally like 4th, 5th, 6th string. There isn't even a 6th string, like pulling guys up from the practice squad off the streets, starting a cornerback the whole season. Like we're starting like McLeod and like Nahshon Wright at like nickel and cornerback sometimes. And it's like, dude, really? So
I'll say this, but Broski, when you say Nahshon Wright, you have to admit he leads the league in interceptions. He is definitely he's most likely getting a contract now. Like that kid, the kid finally got his aha moment and has figured it out. He shut down DK Metcalf last week.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of keep going with what I was saying though. See, I look at him different. Like I don't think he's that good. Honestly, I think he gets burned just as much as he gets an interception. So to me, he'd be like a good backup player. Like if you're like, hey, he's your backup player, like a backup cornerback, like I'd be like, okay, cool. But yeah, the Bears also, they've been just playing like, with that just literally backup secondary, backup cornerback room. So I got to give them credit for hanging in just for that. Hopefully they get these guys back in the next 2 weeks. Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon. Hopefully they get TJ Edwards back at some point. Edmonds seems like he might be out longer.
Yeah, he's out for 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
What's the injuries on the linebackers?
Okay, so TJ Edwards has a hand/hamstring issue. Hippolyte has a shoulder issue. Dominique Robinson is on concussion protocol for the 3rd week now, by the way. Noah Sewell's an elbow because he had that funky brace thing on for a while.
Yeah, so to kind of put it in perspective, Ken, it's like TJ Edwards has missed, like, what would you say, Bear fan Ken, like the last 3 games? This is going to be like his 4th in a row?
Yeah, between Edmonds and Edwards, we've only had both of them together, I think, for like 1
exactly.
game.
Like that. Yeah, that's another thing to consider. They've only played like a limited amount of snaps together on the field together just entire season. So, and now you see Edmonds is out, and he was one of the league leaders in interceptions or whatever as a middle linebacker
he's
or outside linebacker.
Top 4.
Yeah. So
the Bears have 3 in the top 4. He's the 3rd guy.
Now,
I mean, you've been missing these guys, and Noah Sewell's not good. Like Noah Sewell plays hard. He plays with heart. He's definitely just a inside
He's a
or
good
middle
backup.
linebacker.
He's a good backup.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to
but
say from what I've seen from him, I've liked him, but I've only seen a couple of
Yeah.
games out of him.
It's one of those things. I really like analyze this shit. Like when I watch it, like Nashawn Wrights and Noah Sewell's, and I'm like, they both play with heart. They're both not bad. They're both truly backup quality, talent level, production level players. Like
I'll add to what Broski's saying. Right now, they're both great. They're showing to be phenomenal backups, moving Preston
Yes.
and Judy. They're getting the job
sure.
done. What I want them to be my full-time guys starting next year, I probably would want Edmonds and JJ back. However, that being said, these guys are still young and progressing. So they've got they got a little bit of a ceiling yet to climb to get better. Nashawn Wright, I'll say this with Nashawn Wright, like I do Tyreek Stevenson. Sometimes these guys, as corners, get unfairly called out for being burned on when the Bears are in a zone and that ball goes over their head and dropped in the soft spot in the zone because they're where they're supposed to be. So we as fans go, oh, well, he got burned. The guy was where he's supposed to be. The quarterback and the receiver did what they were supposed to do and found the soft spot in the zone. That's them beating the scheme, not the player. But we attribute it to beating the player. But Nashawn Wright is a great backup for JJ. I don't think he's going to get a contract from the Bears. It's not going to be a monster deal, but he's going to get a nice little pay raise next year. He'll probably make $3-4 million, right? And he'll be a great backup for Brisker and JJ. And that's a good thing that's come out of this Bears defense this year is we're getting these guys who weren't supposed to be playing at all. And now they're playing. And so when you get your guys back and healthy, you've got a strong one because these are your starters, right? And now you've got really good backups that you can rotate in that helps with your starters as far as durability or keeping fresh legs throughout a game, especially in the fourth quarter where the Bears have suffered and they haven't had those fresh legs as much. And going into next year, what are you drafting? Well, you're still going to be looking for an edge because Booker hasn't gotten there yet, even though, Montez has come on. You're probably looking for an edge, but you're drafting linebackers and cornerbacks. That's what the Bears are drafting next year. And you're going to draft offensive linemen because you should draft offensive linemen every year at some point to develop. So
Ken, I am 1,000% with you on that drafting offensive lineman every year.
Well, and maybe interior defensive lineman as well because Grady Jarrett's not going to be here forever.
Yeah. How old is Grady Jarrett?
This was his 11th season. So he maybe has a year or two, maybe 3 left in him, depending. But like this year, like he's come on lately with Montez. Like he had the blocked pass that basically ended the game this week. But I've heard his name in game calls more and more lately. In the last couple weeks, I had all year. But now I'm not hearing Dexter as much. I think
Grady Jarrett is 32, by the way, guys. 32.
Yeah. So a year, maybe 2 left in him. So you're looking for and we've got a guy who's actually not bad, who was a starter last year, who's now the backup. He could step back up into that role in Dominique Robinson. He might be able to step back up into that role. I don't know. But you're looking at D-line, corner, and safety, and all O-line. Those are the 4 areas the Bears should attack. And you won't attack it in free agency, probably just in the draft, because you're going to be a little hampered with the money unless you do rework some contracts, which they're probably going to have to do, like via extension or whatnot. You're going to have to rework some deals. But this Bears team for next year is looking like, wow, we got some great backups. And Billy said earlier, if these guys are coming back in December, coming into the playoffs and we get a healthy Bears defense, that, by the way, we've only seen play together 1 game this year, and they won that game pretty good. This is going to be a scary team to come playoff time. Because the offense is light years ahead of where we thought it would all be. We thought this team would get carried by the defense. The offense has been carrying this team.
Yeah, and we all know I'm ultra critical of the Bears, but Ken, what you're saying right there, I mean, I agree with. It's just you're just laying out like what's actually happening and what could happen. You get some players back into the year, man. That's gonna be a great time to get it back.
I also think that in addition to like guys like Nashawn Wright playing playing well as backups, right? One of the real positives that you can take from that, even if talent wise they are backup quality players, they've gotten a lot of good reps in this year.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing is you want your backups to have time playing so that, because you can have a really talented guy, but if he hasn't played at all, he's still got to make his mistakes, So I feel like that's really, it's ended up being a good thing for the Bears because you've gotten your backups time without it costing your team. You know what I mean? Without it costing you wins.
Both worlds. Now, let me address what Cam just said about DJ Moore being a cap casualty offseason. That won't happen. Let me tell you why. His cap for next year is not bad. It's $23 million. However, if they were to cut him or move him pre-June 1st, you go negative $7 million in cap space and take on $35.4 million in dead cap. If you do it post June 1st, you gain $1 million and you go 27.4 in dead cap. So really, there were only three guys who were looking like they could be cap casualties, and that'd be Cole Kmet, was one, DeAndre Swift was another, and Tremaine Edmonds. But all of them have played well. I don't think the Bears. Tremaine Edmonds is the biggest one. You would say $15 million. However, you can do other things. You can extend. You can. Let me look. If I real quick, on a restructure, Tremaine Edmonds won't save you any money on a restructure. However, you can save $16 million on a restructure with DJ Moore, $10 million on a restructure with Montez, $7 million on a restructure with Jalen Johnson again, almost $8 million with Joe Thuney, $7.3 million. Well, actually, Deo and his $20 million cap hit, you might be able to save all of it if he's on the PUP IR for the season next year, and now you've saved your cap money. So there are other things the Bears can do.
And Ken, to kind of go along with that, it's like you look at those three, players you named: Cole Kmet, tight end; Swift, running back; and then Edmonds, middle linebacker. So it's one of those things, man. It's like we already have a Monangai at least. We already have a Loveland at least. If Edmonds goes, dude, we don't have a middle linebacker. Let's draft a stud. Let's use a first-round pick and get a fucking, you know what I mean? Let's just get a world beater middle linebacker. The Bears need another one of those big time.
Go get another Urlacher.
No,
Dude,
you don't want another one of that. No, you don't want another.
I'll take two.
Hey, I was going to ask, I'm a big proponent of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if there was one thing that I would consider for the Bears going into the offseason, you could get rid of Swift. And you could save money. He's already potentially a cap casualty. I think I would go get another running back. If you wanted, you could go get Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. I mean, can you imagine the 1-2 punch with Jeremiah Love and Monangai?
But I don't like Love.
For what we pay Swift, he's actually.
I didn't think you would, Broski.
Swift
never likes the top guys, we call it.
Well, Swift is actually a value signing at this point for his contract for what he's producing. He's actually, his value is right spot on.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that, sure, but honestly,
I'm talking about getting younger at the position.
Swift and Kmet, I think you keep them because Kmet helps Loveland helps Kmet. Swift and Monangai, there's your 1-2 punch. It works well. If it's not broken, don't fix it. I agree with Broski. Look at you. We may keep Edmonds, but then still draft that rookie a first round. I think in the first round we'd go more at edge, and the second round you're looking at a linebacker. So you're probably going to keep Edmonds because of that, right? And don't forget, you got this year's draft picks still. You're working through Hippolyte and those guys. If you can afford to keep those three guys, and you can keep this team intact as far as what you've got under contract for next year. So look for next year, you've got 40 guys signed right now to the active roster. There's going to be a cap space bump. You're probably going to get money back from Dio because he's going to be on the PUP, on a physically unable to perform list for probably, and then you're not going to activate him off the IR, right? So you're going to save all $20 million off of him for your cap, right? So now you're at $22 million and you haven't done anything, and you're going to get another $20-40 million, and you're going to get 7 guys in the draft. And you're going to sign some $1 million players here or there, some league minimum guys to be backups, or to be, on that back end. the Bears you're actually looking pretty good. And we all know the cap has not really been an issue for any of these North teams because they all run the cap really well, and there are ways you can work around it. So, like, if I'm the Bears, dude, I'm keeping all of them if I can. And the only reason you get rid of any one of those three guys is out of you have no choice and you can't, and you're hamstrung and you cannot do anything else.
But I know that you don't think it's going to happen, Ken. I understand that, but I just kind of want to walk the dog on this one because, like, to me, it's an interesting prospect, and of course, we're speaking hypothetically here, right?
If you could keep Swift and draft that rookie running back, I think you would keep Swift because he's a proven commodity, right? And the rookie is not. And then you've got 1 year of Swift under contract, and then you can let Swift walk at the end of the contract year, and then you're still set up. So you can look at it either way with that. Now,
Yeah, and honestly, I don't see first round running back talent this year. I see, or at least something I would spend like a first round pick on. You know, I'd rather go after a middle linebacker in the first round based on the players.
I wasn't saying to get a first round running back. I was just saying like to get a running back that you could pair with Monangai and have two young guys on their rookie contracts,
And that's what I'm saying. Draft one, maybe fifth round, sixth round, something like that. Tight end, it could be the same kind of thing. It's like we have 11, so we can draft a tight end fourth, fifth round, and we'll be fine. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Next year, Swift's last year of his contract. It's the last year of Kmet's contract. You can keep both of those guys and still draft guys behind him in the third, fourth, fifth, sixth round, whatever. That are going to be dirt cheap that you'll have on there for depth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the Bears need a third tight end. They don't have a third tight end under contract next year. Now, granted, the entire safety room needs to be re-signed because none of them are under contract for next year. But like I said, you're probably saving $20 million from Deo because he's going to be on the pup, and they're not going to activate this guy off the IR. I don't think. I think he's done as a Bear, unfortunately for him. But and look, he just didn't perform as a Bear. I think business decision wise, I think the Bears make this guy never comes off the IR next year, and then he quietly gets released.
Yeah,
it costs the Bears nothing. So that's good for the Bears business side, or costs them very little. But I think you'll see you won't see Bears fans are going to be upset because in free agency, I don't think the Bears are doing much of anything. They're not signing anyone. Unless they're dirt cheap.
they're not going to be super active. They're going to hope to hit on their draft picks. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
Hey, Broski, what don't you like about Jeremiah Love? Because every Notre Dame game that I've watched this season, he looks like a freaking superstar.
First of all, Notre Dame doesn't play anybody, so he's not playing good comp. And in college, it makes such a huge difference. The competition level you play, like it's a huge range. You know what I mean? Like a huge range. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I can get into some college breakdowns or something. Maybe some other time it would take a little bit, but I'm not saying I don't like them. It's just I wouldn't use a first round pick on them. You know what I mean? I think that's more what I'm saying. That's all.
Like Drew Dahlman for the Bears, if you give him an extension, you can save $8 million next year. You can save $7 million on an extension with Cole Kmet. I mean, there's like I said, there's tons. There's tons of things you can do. Well, that's for 25, 26. There we go. There's a ton of things you can do next year. Look, if you extend Montez Sweat, you can save $15 million. You can save $17 million by extending DJ Moore, $10 million by extending Edmonds, $9 million for Jonah Jackson. $8 million for Dahlman. Jalen Johnson, you can save $11 million by doing extensions. $12 million if you extend Tooney, which might not be a bad idea. Grady Jarrett, $10 million, but I don't think that's going to happen. That's another big one. Kyler Gordon, you extend him, you can save $7.3 million. Now, granted, this year with the injury concern, you might say, well, why would they do that? But if you look at the cap savings these guys could have, it makes some sense. So that's what I'm saying. Like when we think about the cap spaces for teams, dude, there's so many things that teams can do with that. Look at the perfect example. I haven't even said it yet. Look at New Orleans Saints before the season. Like, how the hell do these guys even have a cap? And they have like 20 million cap now. Whereas we're like, there's no way they're going to be cap compliant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Remember the breakdown that we did before the offseason?
Yeah.
There was no logical way that they were going to be able to. The thing that massively helped them that none of us foresaw was Derek Carr retiring. Is that massively saved? I
Dude,
almost
they've
called him
got
David. That's why I had to pause.
9.1 million in available cap space for this year right now. And we thought there's no way they're even not be now they're negative 8.5 million next year. But they're
So that means they'll have about 50 in cap space by the time it starts.
Yeah, well, more than that. I mean, I agree with what Broski said. We're not going to. Bears will not spend a lot in free agency. You might get some cheaper guys. Not someone's going to fans are going to go, oh my god, we're signing so and so kind of guy. There'll be some small signs, but they're going to rely heavily on the draft. I don't see anyone. I don't see any cuts coming. You might see some. Now, look, if they do some extensions of that and also free up some money, and there's a really good linebacker available, maybe, or an edge, but I think the Bears fans expect to be like the Lions were last year, not spending a lot of money in the offseason.
You know who is going to be spending money this year? The Raiders.
Oh, yeah, the Raiders. But
the Raiders have like 100 and something million in cap space already.
Oh, that reminds me there, Joe. Have you heard? I'm assuming you have, but have you heard the controversy surrounding Geno Smith now?
What, that he flipped off a fan?
That supposedly it goes back to something he did with the Seahawks, and supposedly somebody in the organization came out and was saying something bad about Geno Smith doing it. I didn't pay too much attention to it because it was the Raiders, but is there even any real smoke there? Or is this just nonsense?
Well, what do you smoke about? What about that he might have done that with the Seahawks as well?
No. Smoke about somebody in the Raiders organization pretty much trashing him for it.
Oh yeah, Mark Davis actually spoke to him and told him, like, dude, like, our fans are our lifeblood, and you don't disrespect our fans. Like, it's unacceptable. But I mean, look, as bad as Geno has played this year, Geno's a human being, dude, and he's been getting shit on for the last 10 weeks straight. I'm of the opinion of, like, don't start no shit, won't be no shit, right? Like, if you're gonna sit there and talk shit to this dude week after week after week and hold up your signs, he finally responds back with a little one finger salute. You can't get all butthurt about that. Like, you've been calling this dude out of his name all types of horrible things. I know, because I have too. Like, you know what I mean? But the thing is if Geno told me to go fuck myself, I'm not gonna cry about it. Like, he's a human being, man. Like, you got to imagine, like, the Raiders are an absolute dumpster fire right now. Like, offensively, like, they haven't been successful, and it's all like everybody's pointing the finger at Geno. But as bad as Geno has played, it's not all on Geno. The offensive line, this is the worst Raiders offensive line I might have seen in my entire life as a Raider fan.
Oh wow!
Like, we're talking like 2006 bed and breakfast offense. Like, it's that bad, dude. It really is that bad. And it wouldn't be that bad if we weren't so injured. Like, if JPJ and Colton Miller were still healthy, like, it wouldn't be as bad. But even with them in, it was bad. And that's, so there's a lot of blame to go around, and Geno's been shouldering the majority of it. And I don't know that it's necessarily fair.
For next year, the Raiders have $108 million in cap space and 30 people on the active roster. So they've got to fill 23 slots with $108 million. Geno Smith is a big cap number, 26 mil. Max, of course, at 35. Colton Miller, 22.6 mil cap hit next year. The one guy I wish that we could get off of them, but he's still under contract, but he's going to need an extension, is Jeremy Chin. Has 1 year left of his contract. I would love to steal Jeremy Chin, but that's not going to happen.
And with Chip Kelly getting fired there, do you think that's going to scapegoat it at all, where Geno Smith gets a shot next year to be the quarterback for the Raiders, or you think his time's just done there?
Honestly, dude, I don't know, because I can't predict what Pete Carroll's going to do. He fired
your opinion, yeah.
He fired Chip Kelly over his son, Brendan Carroll. Brendan Carroll is our offensive line coach. And if anybody should have been fired, it should have been our offensive line coach. Like, I mean, realistically, but he's not going to fire his son, I guess. Chip
Mhm.
Kelly, I feel like Chip Kelly got scapegoated because number one, I don't think the Raiders have the players that they need to run the type of offense that Chip wanted to run. The offensive line wasn't good enough. We have, very young guys at receiver, like nobody really with we don't have a number one receiver. Bowers was hurt for most of the season. There's a lot of reasons, like
Hey
I don't think
Joe,
Chip Kelly was go ahead.
not to cut. I don't want to cut you off, but we're kind of we're short on time. I want you to have this piece of information when you're making your argument. If they cut Geno Smith, whether it's pre or post June 1st, $8 million in cap savings, they take an $18.5 million hit. They already have $108 million available. So taking a dead cap of 18.5, but adding $8 million, now you have $116 million or so. They're gonna have maybe $130 million in free agency. Cutting Geno Smith is a distinct possibility because the cap hit is not going to be a concern for 1 year left on his contract.
Yeah, if it's me, I totally cut him. If it's me, like not only for flipping off the fans, but just obviously Pete Carroll thought he could try to squeeze the last bit of good football out of Geno, but it appears that Seattle squeezed the last bit of good football out of Geno. If it's me, I'm going all in on the draft. I'm gonna finish the tank, and I'm gonna go get Ty Simpson from Alabama if I can, because and this is why, like I know everybody's on Mendoza, but I like Ty Simpson because he has elite processing speed. And with how bad our offensive line is, you need a guy who can get the ball out really fast and make good decisions. And Ty Simpson is that to me. Like he has that. That's an elite trait of his, and it is an elite trait. I know he's not very experienced, but
you could do what Joe's saying and keep Geno as your backup because you have no backup signed. And look what Atlanta did with Kirk Cousins, making him the most expensive backup in the league. Well, Geno would now become a $26.5 million backup to whoever they draft, which could be a way they go too. $108 million, and that's before we get the increase. So right now they're probably almost at 130, and that's keeping.
I wouldn't keep Geno. Yeah,
but I mean look at your worst case would be under what you're saying is that you keep him as a backup. That's your worst case scenario. You keep him as a backup for a year. With as much money as you have, it doesn't hurt you to keep him as a backup that may be pressed into service for a game or two as a veteran quarterback. That's not necessarily a bad thing. The Raiders could do that. I think you'd be perfectly okay with that. Like draft your rookie in the first round, number 1 overall, whatever. Geno just becomes a high-paid backup for a year and is a good veteran presence to teach the young man about life in the NFL, but he'll never see the field.
Not for me. For me, I don't want Geno anywhere near our new quarterback. Like, I don't want him teaching him anything. I would go out and I would find an old veteran like Case Keenum or somebody like that who, who has a good mind for the game and have him play and teach the rookie. And then towards the end of the season, give the rookie some reps.
I don't disagree with you on that, but here's the problem. You want a guy, you'll have no quarterback in the room who's been through the system. Geno's at least been through the system, is in the system. Now,
but that system's going to change.
Yeah, you're going to have pretty much a new system, so maybe you can negate that, my own argument there. But it's going to be interesting to see what the Raiders do. They've got so much money, and I'm sure they might look at it. I hate to say this, but you could trade Max Crosby and just load up on number ones and just rebuild, because Max Crosby, you're going to waste him at this point. By the time you get good, Max is going to be getting ready to retire. Like, it sounds bad, but you might want to trade him to a team like Chicago, who will give you 2 number ones for him and maybe some other stuff, and a team that's looking to be ready to win now. And Detroit fans are salivating because they know he likes Detroit. But to be honest with you, it might be a good move for the Raiders organization to look at making that trade to move on from Max Crosby and get him to a team that's in a window. Because by the time the Raiders get back to window, might be a little late for Max Crosby. And it's hard because Max is the Raiders. Max is 28, though. They're not going to be good till he's 31, 32 at the end of his career. Max is in his prime right now, ready to win.
Yeah, but we've seen teams turn it around in a year or two. Like, I don't think it's going to
Not
take
without
4
doing an
if they
overhaul.
hit on their draft picks and with the cap space we have. The main thing is hitting on the quarterback. Like, if the Raiders
Well-
can if they can get a guy like Ty Simpson and he pans out, like,
Well, we'll
I
have to
think they
talk
could be
about
good
that
in 2 years.
Friday because we have
Yeah.
10 seconds left before JB goes on. So, guys, enjoy your Thanksgiving from us at Ken and Ken in the morning. Have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy football. We'll be back here Friday morning for what will be pregame for the Bears-Eagles. We'll see you all Friday. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy